This is Jack from Alpha Charts with a state of the market video. Today is July 2nd, 2022. Happy 4th of July, everybody. If Before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security, and I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe down below. I really do appreciate that. It was super helpful to me, and really helps me keep going and keep doing these videos. So thank you very much if you've done that. If you haven't yet, please do it right now. And one more note, don't forget the Trader Lion conference is starting next weekend, right? It's going to be actually a 4-day event. And there is like, I don't know, almost 30 people speaking. I mean, amazing people. Jack Schwager from Market Wizards, and David Ryan, Mark Ritchie II, Denise Scholl, Jim Ropel, Eric Wish, Roy Maddox, Jared Tendler, John Boyk, Brian Shannon. I mean, just amazing. I'm going to go through all the Leafs on there, Matt Caruso, Tom Canfield, Tom Basso. I mean, it's amazing. You know, my friend Ben, I'm on there, Scotland, Christian, Pat, Ray's on there. I'm looking forward to his presentation. Joe, Amy Smith's on there from IBD. Yeah, so again, and there could be more people. I'm not even sure if they're, but it's going to be really an amazing event. It's completely free. Go to traderlion.com, annual trading conference. That's the URL to click on it, or I'm sure their Twitter feed also has it. The link to click. It's going to be really amazing. Like I said, it's a 4-day. It's completely free, so check that out. All right, so S&P, state of the market. What do we got here? So in the end, it held SPX where it had to hold, right? Bounced up, and that's kind of what we were watching, right? What does it do now? Well, this week was obviously a down week. It was down 2.21%, but it hasn't made a lower low yet. I think that's the positive in this. You know, is it still under all its moving average? Yep. Are they all declining? Yep. So that is obviously the negative, right? Also, we're not seeing like lots and lots of volume coming in here. And I think that's a negative too, because it just shows that institutions aren't ready to buy yet. And the last thing that I'm going to say about this is that there was maybe a slight shift this week, that we did see some gap downs in the morning and more buying in the afternoon, at least the last few days. Maybe that's a big deal. Maybe it's not. It's only a couple of days. And again, the volume really hasn't shown up. So I'm not making a big deal out of it. But that was a little bit of maybe a change of character. And we'll see if that continues. If this makes us higher low right here, that's definitely the bull case scenario, because then it doesn't take very much for it to get back above, you know, the 23-day, and then, you know, the 50-day is right above it too. And we haven't been above the 50-day in a hot minute, right? Since April, actually, we'll say, yeah, since April 20th. So it's been a while since we've been above the 50-day. And again, that doesn't mean it's an all clear, but it's a start. Right now, though, we don't have any of that, but it is something that we're watching. Now, is this, you know, listen, does it look more like a bear flag? Well, it did, right? It kind of got a little bit away from itself for me to be comfortable. Like if it would have broke down here, that's where I would have expected the bear flag to break down. It broke down up here. Okay. But yeah, so we want to see a higher low, even if it comes down a little bit more, as long as it doesn't make, you know, it doesn't break this area. I think that's definitely the bullish scenario. Yeah, we'll see about that. RSP. So on the equal weight, still has that, you know, bear flag look. It's you know, very, very similar, just tangling with that 9-day. The equal weight's right above it. You know, end of month, beginning of the month, end of quarter, end of half year. So who knows, you know, and also it's summer. So all of that's playing a role into this type of price action. You know, I'm not getting too excited about it until I start to see price get above some of these serious moving averages. Still a good chance that we come back in the RSP and come back and test this 118 level. I think that's a likely scenario, but we'll see. But RSP not really showing all that much difference. Let's go to Qs. Qs, same as the others, still below all the declining moving averages. No real reason to believe that anything has changed. I think this area right here is a likely area, but not guaranteed. Obviously, nothing is of potential support. So we'll see if it rolls over or if it doesn't, or if it stops short of it. There's different spots. Maybe it could stop short of it, but there's two different. There's a trend line that's hitting this area as well as this horizontal support. So maybe it's support, maybe it's not. We'll find out. But again, if you look at the volume, nothing is saying institutions are in the market. Nothing is saying that there's a lot of buying going on. Actually, just the opposite is what it looks like to me. Equal weights. Yeah, I mean, still just looks weak, right? Everything's just moving down. It's a bear market, Now, equal weight is into this area already. And if it breaks this area, it could then fall to maybe 51 or even 48-ish, somewhere in there. On the equal weight, again, it's just a big topping pattern, right? And where does it stop? I don't know. Maybe it stops here, right? Maybe it makes a higher low, or maybe it falls through and can stop down here or someplace in between. But until price gets back above these moving averages, nothing's going to change, right? Until it changes, nothing's going to change. IWM. So there's a 5-way pattern, and now it's just kind of, it's kind of holding where we hoped it would, right? It undercut it, came right back up, right in that area. Now, let's see, are we above the 20? Yeah, I mean, so the 9-day and the 23 are starting to get close. The 50 isn't all that far above it, about 5%. So chop here, bringing these in tighter and closer together could be the start of some kind of bottom, right? We'll see, break, and again, we're watching for a higher low right here. Breaks down below this higher low, and I think the market goes into more of a free fall. Listen, none of us know what's going to happen. It's just start of a bottom. You can almost make a trend line-ish like that, maybe, or something like that. I don't know. I'm just trying this for the first time to see if it actually even works. Yeah, I mean, you can do something like this if you really want to go for that, something like that. But yeah, well, basically, we're looking for higher highs and higher lows here, and we just don't have it yet. That's IWM. And let's look at IWO. Small cap growth. So small cap growth is still underneath the area that should have, or we expected to potentially act for support. These moving averages, though, are getting much closer together. I think it's probably way closer than 5%. Yeah, about 4% or so. Yeah, so they're getting closer together. So it won't take much of a pop for price to get back above the 50-day. And that would be the bullish scenario, right? Back above the 50-day at a higher high. So we have a low, higher low. Then if we get that higher high in there, now we got something. So watch IWO for this, because, okay, that's the bullish look. Now, that being said, to me, just like I drew in here, I think it was last week, chances are we're going to come back here and then bounce off it and go lower, because the trend is lower, and that's what we can expect. Also, something like this, it was a holiday. It was Friday before a big holiday weekend, but there's no volume in here, right? Nothing is saying that institutions are back yet. So we'll see. Only price pays, make that higher high. You know what? They'll have some interesting action in these moving averages, and then we'll see what happens at that point. But yeah, so maybe something a little constructive on IWO. And then mid caps, yeah, nothing special there. I think it needs to get down to this 380-ish level, 379, 380. And then we'll see what happens there. Let's see how much further that is. 10% or so, 9.5%, 10%. Yeah, so underneath all those moving averages, nothing to see there. All right, let's go to the ETFs, XLF. All right, so going to the weekly again. at the place where things had to hold, right? This was 2007 highs, 2018 highs, 2019 highs, and now we are at 2022. That's 200 week moving average. If you care about that, that's what that red line is. Going to daily though, price is still underneath everything. Things are still declining, but price held where it had to. I think that's something to be said for that, right? Right. A breakdown here and things get really bad again. And maybe that's the flush we need. But as of right now, price is holding. I'm not buying anything here but right now price is holding. That's all I can say about that. SMH. So SMH has been weak, and SMH has been really weak, weaker than the underlying market. Look at the look of these moving averages and where price is comparatively compared to what we saw in even the Qs, right? Here's the Qs, and you see the moving averages kind of doing a little chop dance here. And, we had a green day on Friday. But look at SMH. Sorry. Look at SMH. I mean, no real chop fest, straight down. Everything's ugly. Everything's bad. That's not good, right? We want to see semiconductors, right? If things are going to get better and the economy is going to get better and things, whatever, we're not going to see this type of price action, and we see it. So that's a big time negative. Let's look at I've changed a few things around here, as I do it from time to time. Transports. In my big four, I have 4 ETFs now that I'm gonna be looking at. Transports, XTN, an equal weighted product. By the way, my Trader Lion presentation, the first half of it is going to be explaining why I choose pretty much each one of these units or indicators in my state of the market. The second half, I'll be showing, I think, 3 or 4 scans I do on FinViz. I use FinViz for my scanning. And so 3 or 4 scans that I have never shown before that I use every day. So just so you know what I'm talking about in Trader Lion. But looking at XTN here, I would love to see this start to recover ahead of the market as an indicator. And let us go to weekly here, and you can see how it is right on support, right? Like we've seen with so many other names today. It's right there. I could go a little higher here, right? I'm just doing this on the fly, something like that. And we're right there, right in it. Again, there's no indication that this is going to hold or that it even means anything, but it's there. And so far it is, we'll call it holding. So we're watching for transports to rebound ahead of the market, saying that people think that things are going to get better again. And the last one is going to be XHB, housing. I replaced my lumber chart with this housing chart. So it hasn't quite come to that. Again, if you want to go to a weekly chart, you can see how important that this area has been in the past. Price has not come down there yet. And again, housing looks a little bit better, made that higher low, hasn't made a higher high yet relative to this area, or more importantly, this area. And let's see how much further down this is. 17-18%. So right now we have to say that this is a bear flaggish look to it, and the more likely scenario is low. If this does recover though, that would be the bullish scenario. So is what it is. Not yet on support though, which is what it is. Going to the VIX, let's go to line charts and clean up some of these things that we don't need anymore. Line chart, there we go. All right, so VIX, it came back into 26.71. So that's a positive, right? We're not seeing a big spike or anything. It's still not, in our really good, green range, to 20-ish or under. But it's it's something, right? Came back in a little bit. Again, no real signal there. We're not seeing big spikes, and we're not seeing it, really come back into a trading range. So we'll just keep moving. Let's look at bonds, credit spreads. So there's your bearish look, right? Continues higher. That's a bearish look. There's no doubt that's bearish look. So credit spreads are widening. Not good. Put call ratio. So all this stuff is out there, and yet people are once again buying the dip. Look at that. Never got to extreme. Still hasn't gotten to extreme. People are still buying the dip. No capitulation yet. I don't even know what to say about that. We ain't there yet, though. To me, there's no bottom yet without that capitulation. Value line geometric index. Again, I'm thinking about the utility of this particular indicator too. I'm not sure how much it gives us a good feeling of breath. So we'll see. I may end up removing this one because I kind of like the MMFI better. Percent of stocks above the 50-day moving average. You see it's back up to 31%, but never again got into the green zone. Never really got that washout in breath. That's extreme. So, and what's interesting is that because we've had some chop, that 50 days starting to catch up, which is why we're seeing it easily get back above it right over here. And so we may see this continue to rise. If we do, that's a positive, right? If we see this get above 50, like, okay, we're seeing that there's more and more stocks that are above the 50-day moving average. And that's got to be the bullish scenario. We're not there yet, obviously, but it hasn't been above 50 since March, maybe beginning of April. So we're not there yet, but constructive, yeah, maybe a little bit. Gold, yeah, nothing to see in gold, and Bitcoin, right? Let's see what Bitcoin's doing today. So we talked about this bear flag. Bear flag broke, and it's been going down. It hasn't been going straight down like this type of move right here. Maybe it does this weekend, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But as you can see, there's no bid for Bitcoin. And I don't think there's any bid for risk assets in general right now. This next support, which is around 14,000 or so. If you really want to look at it, measured move, not measured move, but measurement is another 28 to 30% lower, right? So that's what Bitcoin could potentially do. So where are we here? To sum everything up, I still think that as much as I like, IWM and a bunch of the other looking charts that are on support, XLF is on support, XTN, is on support basically. I think that things like the SMH, I think that's a very poor look. I think the bond spreads, very poor look. I think the put call ratio, not ever getting too extreme, very poor look. And I think that the market is still suspect. I think that there's still more downside to be. Okay, so I really think there's still no new buys. We are in a red light scenario. I think it's still patience, right? I think still wait. I think cash is king still. I think this market's still suspect. Now, if things get back above, their respective moving averages, right? If we start seeing that transports are bouncing hard and getting above this SMH is recovering, right? And not just to here, but, in this range. That may not happen in a week or 2 weeks, right? That would change the scenario. And it is extended to downside. So be careful for that snapback look to it. But this is a bear flag that broke down. And there's more downside coming. It looks like an SMH. If there's more downside coming, I have a hard time thinking that the Qs or any other index is going to be doing well in that scenario. Watch for one more, hopefully swift capitulation type move. I still think we need it. IWM, I think it could still go lower, right? IWO is still underneath. So, yeah, I still think that there could be more downside to come. So I'm playing it cautious for me. Y'all do what you think is best. for you, but just be careful out there. Save your mental capital and your physical capital for when the market is for sure good and the wind is at our back, and we can go and be really aggressive in this market. I don't think we're not in or near that scenario quite yet. All right, don't forget Traderline Conference next week. I'll be talking again about what I just went over, what each one means to me, as well as some great scans. I think you're really going to like them. An IPO scan, a bull snort scan, a pullback scan. I know I'm doing those 3 for sure. We'll see how time goes for anything else. But yeah, so really fun stuff. Check it out. Again, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you all very much. You all have a great day. Happy 4th of July, everybody.